Welcome back to the dimecomicbros podcast.
Wow.
I'm your host.
Coming in hot right out of the gate.
I'm your host, Colin.
I am
with my co-host, Spencer. How are you doing, Spencer?
Are you gonna let me speak?
Fuck no. You can fuck off. This is my fucking show.
Colin, I had to wake you up this morning.
Yeah?
And then I have to do all of the editing, and I had to collect all the news.
Yeah?
And you had to borrow my book, which you didn't finish. Colin, you can't operate this show by yourself. Shut the fuck up.
Does any superstar operate their own show? Did Freddie Mercury Freddie Mercury do that? Fuck no.
Freddie Mercury was in a band.
Then he was just the Then he went solo.
His solo career was kind of lame.
No, it wasn't. Fuck you, eat my gay ass.
Someone who cannot speak is Jacob, because he is still MIA. No more ominous messages. He's just not picking up the phone. So that's pretty cool. We've already talked to the cops.
They said that they would check out the address, but we haven't heard anything from them since.
Yeah, that was 2 days ago.
Why buy a comic that might cost more than a dime? Come meet the brothers who are here to waste your time.
Wow, I haven't looked at any of these.
Well,
DC Fandome reveals lineup for October 16th. New trailer for The Batman. First look at Black Adam. Sneak peek at The Flash. Behind the scenes look at Aquaman 2. Behind the scenes look at Shazam 2. More DC Fandome reveals include a new look at Peacemaker series and Harley Quinn season 3, as well as new projects DMZ and Naomi.
I like how no transition. I didn't even know what you were doing. You're just into the news.
Of course.
You didn't even say into the news.
No, I don't
like
need
I do
to.
every single
week in the single hole, single penis hole, single
Pringle.
Tentacle.
Oh gosh, can we not talk about tentacles? We have to wait on that one until
we can't. We can. I mean, it's going to be a part of what we talk about with what we watched.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that later.
Yeah, okay.
HBO Max also released the first full trailer for Doom Patrol Season 3, which is premiering on September 23rd. Did you watch that?
No, because I haven't even seen Season 1.
Nice.
I mean, I haven't finished Season 1.
Well, as the resident Doom Patrol expert out of the three of us, because I have watched it and read a handful of the books.
Good for you,
looks good. I'm looking forward to it. 7 article from Gizmodo. The Marvel Comics universe is about to be changed forever. Actually, it seems like it's about to be changed forever on multiple occasions between December of this year and February 2022, as the publisher has announced 8 new, quote, tentpole series, as at least half of which sound like mega events. Curious, here's the rundown directly from Marvel. So we have Devil's Reign. All hell breaks loose in the Marvel Universe as the Kingpin finally declares all-out war on the heroes in Devil's Reign. Having set the stage in their Eisner-nominated Daredevil epic, Chip Zdarsky and Marco Checchetto's far-reaching crossover event finds Mayor Fisk outlawing all superheroes in New York and unleashing intel on all their dark secrets while pitting Daredevil, Elektra, Captain America, Iron Man, Spider-Man, and the Fantastic Four, and many more against his Thunderbolt agents. But in the end, who will reign? We also have Avengers Forever. Marvel Comics Avengers Forever puts together Tony Stark, aka the Invincible Iron Man, and Avengers from across the multiverse to bring order to timelines where hope is a 4-letter word, which just means all of the multiverses. That's a really weird way to phrase it.
Isn't hope already a 4-letter word?
That's the point. That just means everywhere. Jason Aaron and Aaron Kudor present an all-new series that will redefine the Avengers as the multiverse's mightiest heroes. We also have Timeless. The future of the Marvel Universe is here, and Timeless is where it all begins. When a threatening new timeline emerges, Kang the Conqueror must fight his way through the coming year to protect the main 616 timeline he's worked centuries to solidify as his own.
Kang's also another 4-letter word. Does that correlate with hope?
Oh my gosh, shut up.
Is that what his helmet stands for? It's not a helmet, it stands for hope. It's like a river.
You're gonna make me pop a blood vessel.
It's like trying to find your car keys, but you can't find your helmet.
Colin, shut the fuck up.
Like trying to find your fucking car keys.
Jed MacKay, Kev Walker, Joe Bennett, Mark Bagley, and more provide a first look at what's coming to the Marvel Universe in 2022 in a story that will prove the future is timeless. X Lives of Wolverine and X Deaths of Wolverine. House of X and Powers of X usher in the first Krakoan age of the X-Men. Now Marvel Comics X Lives of Wolverine and X Deaths of Wolverines. That's X as in the letter, like X-Men, not X as in EX, but it also means X as in previous. You get it? You get it? Will test the best there is at what he does before any mutant can survive the second Krakoan age. Benjamin, Percy, Joshua, Cassara, and Federico Vincetti tell two interlocking tales about what happened to Wolverine when his past meets his future. We also have She-Hulk. Marvel Comics She-Hulk from Rainbow Rowell and Roge Antonio throws the book at Jennifer Walters as she tries to put her rage-filled days behind her and return to practicing law in defense of the innocent. But when a friend from her past comes knocking with a mystery she can't resist, She-Hulk gets back to bashing. Fantastic Four Reckoning War. Dan Slott is joined by Carlos Pacheco and Rachel Stott for Marvel Comics Fantastic Four Reckoning War, an epic saga over 15 years in the making. The original secret war of the Marvel Universe has been reignited, and every living being in reality is in danger, for we are finally at our day of reckoning. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. Lunella Lafayette and her lovable 20-foot dinosaur are back in Marvel Comics Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. But what shape will their partnership take in this new, exciting era? Keep your eyes peeled in the coming months for more news about the next adventure of the biggest brain in the world that will send dino-sized shockwaves through the Marvel Universe. In 2022, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur will bring new meaning to the term Marvel Team-Up in a tale that promises to shake your world. That was a lot. If I'm being honest, about half of these sound pretty interesting, and the other half I kind of don't care.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I think it...
Like, at all.
Yeah, like, the creative teams all sound good, so that always makes me interested. But on the whole, Marvel, in my opinion, handles events infinitely worse than DC does. They both have problems with having an event every 5 minutes and then having 1,000 tie-ins and nothing makes any fucking sense, blah, blah, blah. But Marvel does. They literally just announced, that's 6 of them in the next, 6 months. Just so many events, and they all feed into each other, and blah, 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 and it's just too much stuff. Calm down.
Yes.
Can we have a year without events? Crossovers are normal, but, can we just chill for a minute without having to shake up the status quo? Because then shaking up the status quo is the status quo. At least when DC does it, they're, half-ass resetting continuity or some shit. Yeah, half of those don't make any sense and they don't work, but it's a little less frequent than Marvel being... Because Marvel can't reset its own timeline, they just have to keep stacking more and more and more stuff on top of it, and it's just so much.
Marvel can't reset their timeline?
No, they never have. They merge timelines and they screw around with stuff, but they've never had a full reboot. They have tonal reboots every few years and, those sorts of things, but everything that's happened in a Marvel comic book that is not explicitly in another timeline has always happened. It's all canon. It's a lot to deal with. Which is what DC is currently doing, but in a very different way.
Probably true.
Would you like to talk about the main topic?
Okay, I actually have, one thing to say so far, with, how far I read, was that...
I have to do the intro to the main topic before you can say anything! Yeah!
Okay, go for it.
So the main topic this week is Superman Year One, which is a 3-issue limited series written by Frank Miller and penciled by John Romita Jr., published under DC's Black Label in 2019. The events occur on Earth 31 with the rest of Frank Miller's DC stories. Colin, get your little bit out, because you didn't even finish reading it.
Well, yeah, I was just reading through. Some of the little poetic stuff is kind of nice. In the beginning, when we get to see Krypton, and, Superman gets sent out, and blah, blah, blah. But, no matter what, ever since Man of Steel...
Oh, yeah.
Nothing, in my opinion, really compares to Krypton, to any other story of Krypton blowing up and, Superman being sent out. Nothing can compare to that.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
My two favorite is, Man of Steel and the one that... It doesn't have to do with Mike Mignola being the one that inked it in pencil.
Okay,
but
sure. Sure, bud.
Oh, yeah.
But that story I like a lot because it's very futuristic, and it just shows how isolated Kryptonians became in that version of Krypton.
Yeah.
But like Man of Steel was just so dynamic and it was so impactful and it had such more depth to it than this. It felt like two parents.
I mean, we are
Two parents.
You're contrasting two different types of media. Like, that's kind of difficult.
Well, yeah, but like you can still be dynamic and have more depth.
Yeah.
Have depth in a comic, but they just went super simple, like super fast with it. And they, so far, just in this one, from what I've read, is that they really like to get into like Clark Kent, like young Clark Kent. Like that's mainly what the story is so far. It's just young Clark Kent being young Clark Kent, and instead of like being like rather than like the Kryptonian side of things.
Yes. I got a lot of thoughts.
I also really hate his mom, Martha.
I hate
She's
your
like,
mom.
People aren't bad; they're just confused. I'm like, oh my fucking word.
See, Colin.
And then his dad comes in and he's like, not everyone's always right. Your mom's kind of wrong.
Colin.
Beat the shit out of them.
Colin.
What?
You need to stop going from whisper speak to screaming. Because the microphone can't fucking fix that, and I can't do much with that in post.
I'm not doing that.
You go from to I'm talking very normally and very quiet. This is how you're talking right now.
Yeah.
That's way too That's not normal talking volume.
This is how I normally talk.
No, it's fucking not.
Yes, it is.
Maybe when we're like sitting on the same toilet, you talk this quiet. But
No.
my goodness.
No, I talk this. This is how I talk.
Now you're talking how you normally talk.
What do you mean I talk like this? I talk however, shut the fuck up.
You have no volume control.
Any way that I talk is how I talk.
That's what I'm saying is your speech
Yeah?
patterns are the same, but
Deal
your
with it.
volume control is all over the place.
Deal with it.
Do you have any fucking idea how much work has to go into the back end of this shit to make you like audible when you do that? Speaking of audible, text dimecomicbros to 500 to get your first 2 books on Audible for free.
We've got 50 Shades of Grey and 50 Shades Darker.
No 50 Shades Freed?
Nope.
But they do have gray.
We have gay?
They definitely have gay.
Let's add some gay books for you.
So this book is like almost, in my opinion, almost as bad as Strikes Again. The art is still better.
The art's so bad though.
It's not great.
Like literally every single parent, like everyone's drawn exactly the same. Like their proportions are like their teenage bodies.
Yes.
But like with old faces.
Yeah. John Romita Jr. is simultaneously really consistent and also really inconsistent in terms of everyone feels the same, but in between panels, everyone, like, the same person looks radically different.
Mm-hmm.
The same character will look 5 or 10 or 50 within, like, one sequence. It's really weird.
It's because he doesn't set boundaries for his characters. Like, he doesn't write down notes of, like, hey, this needs to be this line, this needs to be that line.
Yeah. So, the base premise of going, hey, this universe has a Batman Year One, and when everyone liked that, this universe has a Superman. Why don't we do that, but Superman isn't horrible? But, dear Lord, on the whole, this book is pretty freaking bad. Like,
yeah.
I would put this lower than All-Star Batman and Robin, slightly, because at least Jim
Clark
Lee's...
Kent, Kryptonian, age 12.
Womanizer. Asshole. Yeah, this book has some really weird characterizations. I think that's the whole, the biggest complaint. You can get over some mediocre art or like some weird narrative choices or whatever, but the characters are so inconsistent with themselves and any other known interpretation that half these characters don't feel like anything.
No.
Like, the concept of Superman enlisting in the Navy, I think, is really interesting. It would kind of explain some elements of how Superman has been portrayed in this universe that's really unique, that has not been done before. And some stuff like that, which I think is really cool. But on the whole, like, Batman's at the end of this book, he's horrible, makes no freaking sense. He acts like a drunken frat boy. Wonder Woman is in this book, also at the end. She's a bitch, like usual. Frank Miller does not know how to write women, still. It's so weird, and like you said, the Kents are kind of characterized in a weird way.
Literally, his females make no sense. Like when he
Yes.
draws, when he writes females.
Yes. His males barely make any sense, but the women are even worse.
Well, I mean, at least the males are consistent.
No, they're not. Not really.
Nah, I don't know what I'm talking about.
No. Like, so the 3-issue format I thought was kind of cool. Of like, we have the first one. Each one of these are large issues, so it's like its own story. The first one is set in Clark Kent's childhood. Then the middle one is his days in the Navy, and then doing some shenanigans with mermaids and stuff.
Nice.
I'm gonna get to that.
So I'm gonna keep this book for a little bit because I want to like finish it.
And then the third issue is him essentially going to Metropolis and doing Metropolis stuff. And I like the format, but it doesn't work that well on the whole. Where's it going? So the idea of having like the Frank Miller trying to be poetic, like you said, I like it in concept, but I still can't stand it in execution. I am so bloody tired of Frank Miller's really ambiguous, nonchalant, unpersonified voiceover bullshit.
Yeah.
Because he does it in every book, and every single time he does it, it gets worse. Sometimes it'll be one character, sometimes it's another character. And the colorist and the letterer can only do so much to differentiate if it's supposed to be another person, using different colors and different text and whatever. But, like, half of it in this book is just vague words while action happens. And it's so obnoxious, it drives me fucking crazy. Because at least I could kind of enjoy some of Romita's panels. Again, really inconsistent stuff. But some of it's not horrible. And I could try to enjoy that, but Frank just kind of fucking ruins it.
Yeah. Frank just kind of turns me off sometimes.
He really needs a companion writer. Like, the 2 books that he did with Brian Azzarello were a lot stronger because he had someone who has somewhat similar sensibilities to curb his insanity.
Yes.
So I don't know why the hell that didn't happen again, which is kind of sad. The childhood social settings I thought were kind of neat because they're a little different than stuff we've seen before, where Clark's not popular. Like, he's not...
Yeah.
He's picked on by the group of bullies, but that's normal. And, like, he's kind of somewhat popular, even though he's a nerd, but he's also not too much of a nerd. It felt very... I don't know. This is a weird alien kid who's kind of just good at everything, and he's kind of trying to help everyone and whatever. So he kind of fits in with most of his social groups. I didn't hate that. The fact that the bullies, like, terrorized the teachers, not like, oh my gosh, they put thumbtacks on their seats, but, like, the teachers and the cops are, like, scared of these teenagers. Like, holy shit. Also,
how are the cops scared of these teenagers?
Also, there was an attempted sexual assault in the first issue of a teenager. It's like, god damn, why do we keep doing this? Could we stop? Frank, stop.
Can we stop having, like, sexual assault where, like, there's no value to, like, the story?
It's just... wow, these teenagers are so bad. It's like, you don't have to make them try to rape her. Holy crap, that's a lot.
So, like, Frank hates women.
Yes.
Frank hates teenagers. He hates kids.
Frank does hate everything.
He hates humans.
No, unironically, like, Frank...
he hates everything. He hates undocumented foreign aliens.
Unironically, if you go, like... if you look at some of Frank Miller's interviews, he kind of does just hate everything. Like, he's pretty open about that. He tries, and he's pretty public when he goes through... like, he wrote a book, which the name I do not remember off the top of my head, that was, like, so disgustingly, like, Islamophobic, like, directly after 9/11. It was really bad.
Of course.
Yeah, like, he... that was a very common thing at the time, and he's been pretty public about the fact that he would never do that again, and he's glad it's not being published anymore. Like, he is very... not explicitly reactionary in his politics themselves, but he's a reactionary person. He's very knee-jerky, I don't like this, or whatever. And that shows in, like, everything he does now.
I think I can relate to that.
In a sense, I kind of get it, but it just doesn't play well. If you don't have any good ideas for any of these characters, why are you doing it? It's like that argument that people have, and they're like, because you brought it up, I didn't bring it up. When people are like, Zack Snyder doesn't like Superman, it's like, yeah, clearly he does, but if you think he doesn't, then why would he be working with Superman?
What makes you think he doesn't like Superman? The whole story is literally about Superman.
I know. I'm not saying it's a valid point, but I'm saying is people bring up that sort of, like with anything, it's like, why would you do this thing if you're not into it, unless you're getting like some really fat paycheck. And I think that kind of shows with Frank is like, why are you writing this story or whatever if you're not even interested in it and you kind of just hate every element of it? I'm not sure where that's going. But the fact that Superman is a whore in this book, not a fan. So like, cool, edgy Superman does some not amazing things sometimes, fine.
So
But
I don't.
Superman in the first issue was like, yes, Lana Lang, oh my gosh, I'm in love with her. Then he goes to the Navy, he's like, oh my god, look at these mermaids, I'ma fuck them. And then he fucks the mermaids, or one of the mermaids, and then he becomes, like, King of Atlantis, basically. Not actually Atlantis, but like this underwater kingdom I don't remember the name of. Like, he takes the throne because he fucked a mermaid, and then he drops that, and then in the next issue, he's trying to get up in Lois Lane, but then he doesn't, and then he goes for Wonder Woman, and then that's kind of where the universe goes. It's like, holy flipping heck, I can kind of get the whole, wow, Clark Kent is such a flawless human being. He's like the Uber Chad. You know, he is the Ubermensch. But like, holy crap, he's just a shitty person.
So I'm never okay with Superman being a whore, but Superman in any continuity is a flirt.
Oh yeah.
For sure, because
He tries.
first off,
Usually it's bad, but he tries.
I don't think so, because so the perfect one where he's like a good flirt is animated series. I've always noticed that he was like a little bit of a flirt, like with, I think her name was like Rocketeer, or like the Rocket Chick, or like this other's like villain. Like he would, like there was something that like he got her out of having to be in jail, and like got her own little island, and like every now and then he brings like food supplies to her. Like he was such a flirt.
He's
and, like,
flirty in the way that like we kind of all flirt with other human
yeah,
beings.
so like he's just flirty. He's just like
Yeah. He's not.
hey.
Yeah, but he's not like, hey, let me get in those pants.
No, he's just like,
hey, you're kinda cute.
Hey, you're pretty.
But he also finds everybody.
Hey,
kinda
you're pretty. Let's be friends.
Exactly.
You friends?
He instantly friend zones himself because he's such a dad.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, like I like that, but this is just.
He's not a whore like Batman.
And
Batman's a whore.
No, yeah. But like this isn't portrayed as, oh, it's a character flaw. There's a story here. It's just now. He's just fucking somebody else.
Yeah.
It's like, why? Very strange. Also,
just advocating for hookup culture.
Weird. Very cringe. I do have to say, this book adds like 10 new Superman powers. So, Superman's a psychic now.
Oh yeah, in the beginning of the book,
mind controlled the Kents to adopt him.
Yeah,
that was fucked up. I couldn't tell at first if that was, the baby's thinking because the baby's really smart, or if this is like actually mind control. I was like, oh no, that's mind control. This is terrifying. He does that with other characters later to one extent or another. He can also breathe underwater.
That's stupid. I feel like he would be able to hold his breath underwater for a very long time.
Right, but he
like
just
how
whole
he
ass
can
like
in,
breathes.
Space.
Like he doesn't have gills or anything. He just like whole ass just like swims underwater for like.
Or like
days.
I can even believe that he doesn't need to breathe.
I feel like that's more what most people end up going, because like he can go into space by himself and like talk.
Yeah.
So
except in the Justice League.
Yes.
Cartoons.
Yes, but like I feel like that's kind of the assumption is like he can just kind of go for a while without oxygen or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just weird. He
like
spends
how he
almost
doesn't actually need food. He can just use the sun. He's just a fucking flower.
Yeah, it's weird. And also he absorbs not just solar energy, but like any energy. He absorbs lightning, and it makes him stronger by the end of it. It's so weird.
But then he gets struck by lightning in
just
Dark Knight Returns.
Yes, just don't expect Frank to be to actually be consistent. So that's really weird. Also, there's mermaid incest.
Nice.
And mermaid rape.
What are you doing, step mermaid?
No. It's stepfather mermaid.
What are you doing, stepfather mermaid? I'm stuck in this dryer.
Wait, why is a mermaid in a dryer?
Why is...
What do you do with your mermaids?
You do things to mermaids? You have a mermaid?
Maybe?
Oh, well...
Yeah, so like because the king has no queen, he's gonna like take his daughter as his queen. It's like, what?
That's some berserk shit right there.
It's some real weird shit. And he's super possessive of her, and that's why Superman's like, oh, I am in love with your daughter. I would like to marry her, except I would like to actually bone her and then leave her later. But like, it's so weird, and he's like, no, this guy will not take my queen. It's like, what in the goddamn fuck is going on with this dude?
Why is this in a Superman comic?
Also true. Really weird. And then issue 3 has a cold open with Lois Lane doing stuff and then getting attacked by the SEAL team that Clark used to be a part of, which was kind of cool that they went back to that, except that issue came out like the month previous and it's like 10 pages before this.
Sure.
It made no sense what was going on, like why Lois Lane was where she was, where they were. None of it made any sense. I hate cold opens in comic books. They're dumb. That sequence did demonstrate something I did kind of find cool, was how because Superman has gone through so much of the SEAL training, that like when they're doing stuff, he's like 50 steps ahead of them. He knows this thing's not going to hurt me, this thing's going to do this, and he's like trying not to like kill them because he used to basically be friends with them. So that was kind of interesting, I guess. It gives credence to that moment in Master Race where he kind of like not snaps, but like he goes like full badass mode, and he's doing like specific, not just Superman's doing a good old punchy punch. Like he's doing very specific like moves and like chopping people's throats and shit. I loved that moment because Bruce is like, I always knew he could do this. He just never did it because he didn't want to. Like I thought that was kind of cool. I'm hoping that was an intentional like connection. Just the technology, something that does bother me in any book in a series when the books are published entirely out of order, is this book looks like it takes place in modern day. There are cell phones and modern computers and blah blah blah. And you know,
oh yes, Frank being inconsistent again.
The book that's like 40 years in this book's future takes place.
Yep.
About 10 years in quote unquote 10 years in the future, except that actually came out with technology that was like pretty normal in the 80s because the book came out in the 80s.
Yep.
What the hell? I hate this. Every book that Frank writes does this. They forget the timeline that they're setting up because they're so fucking lazy. That's just...
They just write it whenever they feel like
it's so dumb. There was a term used for Superman, like kicking people's butts. And it was a wicked spanking. I thought that was kind of funny. I thought it was funny because it's like, oh, Dad's gonna come down here and whoop your ass.
Give you a wicked spanking.
I thought it was kind of funny.
Oh, I would love to see that in like Zack Snyderverse.
Oh my gosh!
Just like someone just says a wicked spanking, or like Lois get a wicked spanking or something. I don't know. Or like even Bruce says someone's gonna get a wicked spanking. Oh no, Alfred would say that.
Probably.
Wicked spanking.
Oh, he would.
Your dreams.
Batman does use the phrase, I love this job, I love this job, like the sociopath that he is, which is connecting it to other books, but the bad books, so stop. Also, Batman does use a gun, and his suit looks like garbage.
Yep.
And he acts like a drunken frat boy. They fight immediately in this book. They're just like, yeah, you're gonna punch you, no, you're gonna get. They just do stupid like. There's a difference between guys sometimes start their friendships with conflict. I can testify to this. That's a pretty normal thing. But like, this is so contrived. What happens? It's so dumb. And then they get broken up by Wonder Woman. And Clark's like, oh my god, this woman is so hot. It's like
the beginning of a porno.
It's so weird. Yes.
It's literally the beginning of Batman vs. Superman weird. XXX.
Oh my gosh, yes. The forcing setup of the Trinity and the Justice League is weird and still doesn't make any sense because in All-Star Batman and Robin as well, the Justice League already existed without Batman and Batman was not a part of it.
Yeah.
That was weird. Wonder Woman is back to being a sex object again. And then my final point, my soul hurts. Not just, oh, my creative brain hurts, or like, I didn't get it, but I guess somebody would like, this makes my soul hurt. Like, Strikes Again just makes me angry, but it's like almost funny.
Sucks to be you,
This just...
It just makes... Everything that you tell me, I just like want to watch Snyderverse.
I just want to see any other version of Superman at this point.
Makes me just want to go back and watch Man of Steel.
It really shows how freaking good Dark Knight Returns was and how much of a miracle it was.
Yes.
And I'm glad to say that we only have one more book in this godforsaken series, and it's not horrible, and it's a small one. So that's cool.
Which one's that?
Golden Child. It's a one-shot, and it takes place the furthest in the timeline.
Who's the Golden Child? Is this Robin?
It's your mom. You'll find out when you read it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I never want to read this book again. It's pretty rare for me to say that, but I do not want to read this book again. Okay, let's move on. Please, let's move on. Moving on to Marvel's What If Episode 4.
Oh, by far my favorite.
Same!
Dude, this is like... It's so good. I just love Doctor Strange anyway. But like... And I'm so glad that we got just something else that's just Doctor Strange. And I just loved every... So... Let's just go on with what it's about. It's what if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands.
Yes.
And it's just good. Like, what if the art style looks better? So the 2 times I think the art style looks good, and is the only times was like with Captain Carter and Doctor Strange who lost his heart. These are like the only times I really liked the art style. Like, I felt it worked.
I think this episode is what made them choose this art style. That's a note I took, because when I was watching it, I went, some of the real world stuff was like normal. It's like, okay, this is fine. We've already acknowledged we don't really like the art style, whatever. But the magic stuff looks fucking amazing.
It's amazing.
It's so good. It gets that nice, slightly formless feel. Everything's kind of soft and weird. It doesn't have like a lot of hard lines.
Mm-hmm.
And it allows the characters to do really weird and like transformative things without feeling super reality breaking. Versus if like this happened in a live action movie, you're like, okay, all of this would be CG. And we'd be able to all of it, and that's fine. It's one of those things when it's done in the cartoon, it feels more real in the cartoon than it would in the actual movie.
Yeah.
It's just, the art style for this was perfect.
I loved the sequence of him like taking abilities from monsters, like just slowly doing that and then returning back to like the first one that fucked him up. That was so cool, and like how he stopped himself from aging over time. Or what was funny was like the second monster was a bug and he just took the fucking cape. Like that's how he gets how he wears a cape.
That was so funny.
That was just so the fuck. I like the cape though, and takes it.
I really liked that moment, whereas it looks like, oh, look at this montage. And then it's like, oh yeah, it's been thousands of years. It's like, oh dang. That's not a good look, Steven. That's not a good look. It just yes. So I liked the when I think I put it in the group chat or whatever. When it starts off, I'm like, oh, okay, I know where this is gonna go. This is cool. This is a good idea. And then they do it again and again and again, and he does the same thing on loop like 10 times trying to save her, and it hurts so much. Like it actually like yanks on your heart. You're like, oh damn.
I knew at like one point like doesn't even show up, doesn't even like see her, and then she dies anyway.
It's like he so many different variations.
She's
of that,
fated to die.
Exactly. It's a fixed point, and it's like, oh dang, this is
And you think
maybe this show really wasn't made for children. Hot damn.
Yeah, I don't.
Because at first I thought it felt good for kids. Now it's like he's absorbing demons in this one.
I don't know. I watched stuff like that as a kid.
Yeah, but like we're kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perhaps
this episode was full of many oofs in the first like half. Lots of oofs. It continues to prove my point that Stephen Strange is fucking amazing.
Yes.
He is one of my favorite Marvel Comics characters, but
I love how reckless he is.
Even in the MCU, where he was slightly Tony Starkified, like he's a little more quippy, he's a bit more sarcastic, whatever. That happens. We all knew that was going to happen. It was disappointing that happened, but he's still really good, and he's very unique, and Benedict Cumberbatch's performance for him has always been really good. So I thought that the voice actor was it sounded a little different. It might have just been due to something else, but like I thought it might be somebody else, and then you're like, no, it's definitely
because it sounds just like him.
Yeah, Eggs Benedict.
Eggs Benedict.
It continues to prove my point that he's freaking awesome in this role. Just it's great. It's good stuff. So much good storytelling, like just on the whole, for such a short period of time. That uses almost the entire cast is returning to, like almost all the characters that I saw on like a surface level, exactly the same. So good. So it fixes that problem I bitched about multiple times, where it's like a split cast of returning and old people.
It felt like it didn't make sense when we got to the point where he was told that he was just like half of a man, and it's like literally this timeline got split in two. I'm like, what the fuck? But then I realized Ancient One and Doctor Strange is all fuckery. It's very much fuckery, and they can get away with it because they already explains literally magic, which is also like science. And
but it's not. It's actually magic. That's the thing I love that the MCU has done very well is Asgardian stuff. It's like, oh my gosh, it's magic. Nah, it's science. It's like, nah, it's definitely science to one extent or another. And then some things are sorcery, like Loki can do sorcery. Like,
well, sorcery is I mean, magic technically is science.
Kind of.
Or no.
Yes and no.
So no. So, okay, so it's like magic and science are two branches from the same thing. They're reality. That's what it is.
Right, and
they're just branches of reality.
Yes, I like how for some elements of this universe they have chosen not to explain everything as like, okay, this is how when the photon does it, like, all right, we're good. Like, it's magic.
Yeah, please don't explain.
Exactly. There's some stuff where it's cool to explain, where it's like the Asgardians are like, they're just another alien race that have a weird planet and some other stuff. But there are, like, witches, and they do sorcery, and that's how Loki has sorcery, and blah, 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 blah. Versus Doctor Strange is like, there are ways you learn these things, and it is scientifically explained versus as they tap into different reality, like power from different realities to do different things. But on the whole, it's just magic. Like, it's gone full.
And there's different types of magic.
Exactly.
Like chaos magic.
I don't like how muddy the colors are getting, though. That is something which I won't be talking about Shang-Chi today, but in that movie, the magical colors were originally, like, kind of separated into different, like, spectrums and, like, different parts and stuff a little bit. It helps on, like, the brain. And they've kind of muddied that, which is kind of annoying, but such is life. I like how they're just going, it's magic, just get over it. They're doing weird magic shit. It's time travel magic shit. Don't expect it to make sense. Just accept the narrative and move on. And the narrative was pretty freaking cool.
I liked it a lot.
I remember there was
I do like that he failed.
And I like how this show breaks the fourth wall. I remember there was I think it was Jeffrey Wright was talking about, this script really actually pulled on my heartstrings a little bit. And he was talking about how, I think it was like the director of the episode or whatever, was talking about how, like, this has implications. It's bigger than it looks or whatever. And it just breaks the fourth wall. Not to us, but in terms of the narrative we're watching from the watcher's perspective.
Yes.
I loved that. That was such a good moment. And then, it ends on a low note. And that, like, whole ass universe got destroyed, basically.
Yes.
So that leads credence to the whole evil Doctor Strange in Spider-Man Far From Home theory, but he seems to have learned his lesson by the end, so that makes it less likely. Yeah. But still, he might return.
But there could be another universe where everything like that happened, but he didn't learn his lesson.
Right. I like how almost every single property is kind of throwing out ideas on multiverse stuff while not actually doing it. Yes. Like, it is doing it, but not a lot. It's not going, this is exactly this character from this exact point, from this exact... It's going, it splinters like a mirror.
Yeah, like, I hate it when we start going, like, this is, what's his face from Earth 3-2 or Earth 1110 or Earth 0. It's like, whatever.
In comic books, it feels like it works well because most of those are already established timelines or miniseries or whatever. But in movies and TV, I think doing it like this is a little bit better. I loved this episode. Big stonks.
Big win.
It was weird and had tentacles.
I
love the fact that monster, that creature is the same one from the first episode. Yeah. I think we're getting towards the setup of, like, the end of this. Because I think, might have been just Jacob and I, we talked about whether or not this was going to be completely an anthology series or if it would have any larger implications or if it was just going to end up with, like, a team up between the different episodes. And I think we've seen, like, an Avengers lineup from the episode. So
I can't wait for, like, the Ultron Vision one.
That one, I think that's, like, the second to last one, I think. I'm looking,
or Spider-Man Cape.
I think the Zombie Hunter Spider-Man one is next week, I think. I might be wrong. I don't remember the order. I didn't really care enough to look. I want to be surprised.
I don't know the order either.
Spider-Man! Spider-Man!
They love me.
Good episode. Much stonks.
Moving on.
Also had Wong. Wong is my boy.
We love Wong.
Wong.
We love the Long Dong Wong.
Oh my gosh, shut up. So, Colin.
No.
Yes.
Sure.
What have you been doing? Have you watched anything? Have you read anything?
The annoying part is I've watched things, but I haven't finished things.
Why do you watch more than one thing at a time?
Because it makes me happy.
How?
I can't explain. It's either the ADD or maybe I have ADHD or it's the autism.
That doesn't make sense though. But how? You're like, I love all these things. Let's shove them all into my brain at the exact same time so I can barely comprehend any of it.
That's not true.
How do you maintain an emotional through line with a show when you're watching like 5 things at once? I can't even do that with books, and I bang out books like crazy. I can't read more than 2 things at a time because my emotions get pulled in so many directions, and my brain has to keep track of so many things going on.
Maybe my brain, surprisingly, just thinks faster than yours.
You might be right.
I think...
But sometimes you're really slow.
No, so that's why I think I'm slow, is that, like...
I'm so fast, I'm slow. That's... Horseshoe logic doesn't apply.
No. It's like my brain does work very fast, I think, emotionally. So, like, I can get over things really fast, not because, like, I'm stuffing my emotions down. It's just more like, I accept things for, like, some things I accept for the way that it is.
Yeah.
And so, like, with what I'm watching, it's just... It also depends, because, like, sometimes I'm watching things that, like, they all have the same type of theme going on.
Right.
So they're not really throwing me in different directions. They're kind of almost the same. Like, I'm watching the newest Adventure Time episode. I haven't finished it yet, because I had to finish our stuff, but I didn't really finish all of our stuff.
Strange. I don't understand how your brain does that. But anyways, tell me about something.
Ask me a question. Literally, I can't.
I never ended up remembering my question from last week, which was kind of lame.
Damn.
Otherwise, I would have written it down.
You suck. You suck at life.
At least I didn't have to be woken up this morning.
That was funny. I actually woke up to my alarm and I'm like...
Is Hellboy more of a brick red or more of a blood red orange color?
Oh.
Which do you prefer?
That's difficult. So, like, comic book wise, or just in general?
When you picture Hellboy in your brain, what color does he appear as?
Brick red, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, it's brick red because he's like stone. I mean, at least his fist is, but like, I like all his colors being cohesive. Even though in reality he would probably have like his arm, his right hand of doom would be like a different color, and like his skin would be also a different color, but I like it being cohesive, so yeah, probably like a brick red.
I agree. I like brick red Hellboy. The orangey red one's kind of like, meh.
Yeah, I don't really, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Spencer, I want to ask you a question.
Oh.
Which interpretation of Superman is your favorite and why?
Oh, gosh. Oh, why would you ask me that? Are we talking everything?
Yes.
Oh, fuck you. Fuck you. So I'm just gonna throw 3 out there because it's gonna make it easier.
Go for it.
So, kind of surprisingly, Superman from Earth 1, which I talked about with Jacob.
Okay, yep.
You weren't here for that. I think the books on the whole are very up and down, kind of like all the Earth 1 books. And it's definitely not my favorite Superman interpretation, but the character is very different and very interesting, and that was the first Superman comic I ever read.
Really?
Yes. The slightly darker, edgier, moodier, angsty boy.
Of course.
Which honestly isn't really that much more than normal. It's just public perception. But so that one kind of that more holds like a special spot in my heart more than anything else. I have a similar appreciation for Smallville, even though I have very mixed feelings on the show. Some things are amazing and some things are garbage.
Oh, you don't like the superhero hoodies?
And now I don't. I did when I was 14. I thought it was cool, and now I'm like, oh gosh, those are so tacky.
Well, I mean, it made sense for Green Arrow. That's it.
That was about it. Yeah. But yeah, I have some mixed feelings on that show, but I have a lot of good memories of it too. That was one of the first like long running TV shows I watched as a kid. I watched it in a library, particularly like after I would finish doing my schoolwork. Like I'd get dropped off at the library all day because I was homeschooled.
Dude, that's sick.
I know, it was great. So I'd go like upstairs to the research floor, plug in headphones to a computer. I'd check out the disc from the library and then play it in the library and then return it. It was really weird. But I would do that, and I ended up going through the whole series that way, which has less to do with the character than it does anything else. But that, and then kind of the...
Good.
Yeah, I'm gonna expand it to 5. Fuck you.
Fucking hell, Spencer.
I'll be brief.
Fishballa.
What? So in a similar way to Earth 1, I also kind of appreciated the New 52 Superman. That sounds really taboo because nobody likes New 52.
Wow.
I understand why people didn't like it. I really do. New 52 was kind of a weird reboot anyways, and then, make Superman more relatable, blah, blah, blah. But the original, the Grant Morrison section of, I believe it was the Action Comics run, was really good stuff. It did balance the homegrown Kansas boy running around in a t-shirt saving people stuff with a bit of contemporary commentary, as well as being slightly more edgy. And then I really did like the fact that they actually they made him a different person than like post-crisis Superman, pre New 52. They made them 2 entirely separate people, and then they ended up killing off New 52 Superman. It was weird, and it was definitely just done because public perception was really bad. So they're like, okay, everyone else can kind of live with the New 52 interpretations of all the other characters except this one. So we'll do some weird shenanigans there. But I thought after the dust has settled, I thought it was kind of unique. And I do like the suit. I know, the slightly armored, no trunks with the collar suit. I know most people don't like it. I kind of do. Superman, All-Star Superman is a classic. Another Grant Morrison one. Just warm, friendly, dad joke Superman. Like, peak nostalgia. Amazing book. Just phenomenal stuff. Like, if you're gonna recommend anyone to read a single Superman comic ever, send them that one. It's amazing.
Okay.
He some of the overused examples of Superman saving suicidal people comes from that. There's
I've seen those, yeah.
Yeah, like it does come from that, but it's a really amazing book. It's just an overused example. And then kind of The Given, the one I've clearly been avoiding, Dad.
Zack Snyder.
Yeah, I really do like Henry Cavill's interpretation. I like the actor in the role. I like how the movies handle the mythology. Balancing the tones, I think, is a miracle with the very punchy and bass-infused, kind of like slightly metal, just world building and stuff with the more tender moments between him and Lois, I think is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And Henry Cavill is like
scene.
Yes, and Henry Cavill is an absolute Chad on like every level. Can anyone deny that? No.
No,
exactly.
Dude, I was actually talking about that with a coworker, and my coworker is surprisingly a nerd. Like, showed me like old anime he used to watch.
Nice.
And we were talking about Henry Cavill. I'm like, yeah, did you know that he like almost missed? He did miss his call from Zack Snyder. He's like, yeah, dude, he was playing WoW. He was in a raid.
Such a nerd. Like, as a person, he seems really, really cool and laid back and very genuine, which in the age of genuine influencer actors is really overdone. But he does seem like he's just a dude kind of posting his shenanigans on social media.
Yeah.
He, just to speak of aesthetics in terms of like...
Aesthetic!
I know, it's such a weird thing, but like as someone who's interested in fitness and so on, he seems like a dude. I'm pretty confident he also achieved that physique naturally, which is a miracle in Hollywood.
Yes.
He feels like a guy who definitely works out, but he also can like have fun with his life.
So he seems like a dude. He seems like surprisingly enough, a lot of like people that work out are also like anime enthusiasts.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you like anime, you're either three things. You're either that fucked up incel weeb, you're
You're
a
either-
gym rat,
Yeah.
or you're just a casual.
Yes.
Which I'm
Pretty
a
much.
casual.
Pretty much.
I could be the gym rat, but I'm not.
Yeah. You're not.
Because I do art.
Yeah.
I don't have time.
Exactly. Like it seems like he seems like a pretty genuine type of person. I think he brings that same energy to Superman while not just portraying himself. He's clearly acting, and I just think he brings a lot of his own experiences to it.
Yes.
The dude's hot. Yeah.
Welcome back to the Damn Comic Bros
Simp.
Time.
podcast.
Colin. Top 3 favorite Batmobiles.
So we have Batman White Knight.
Yes.
We have Batman the Animated Series original.
Ooh, that's a sleek boy. Very long.
Yeah, I like the long Batmobiles. I like the long dongs, you know? And then, of course, Batman vs. Superman, Ben Affleck, Zack Snyder.
It's got a cannon, okay?
It's literally got a cannon.
Well, I mean,
No,
in Justice
on
League,
one
but
of
yeah.
them.
Yes.
But also it has guns on the front. And also it's just cool. I mean, here's some honorable mentions. Taboo, which is Arkham Knight Batmobile. That's pretty sick.
In design,
Yes.
hell yeah.
Yes.
Gameplay, fuck you. But, like, yeah.
I don't have an opinion on it because I haven't really played it.
It does look sick as hell.
Eventually I'm going to go and play all those all the
Wow.
way through. Except Arkham City, I have done that, so I'm going to. I've done that. No, actually, I've done Arkham Asylum and City, but like I've done
Wow.
City more than Asylum, so I'm gonna go to Asylum then Night,
Wow.
and probably that's it. But honorable mentions is that one because I really love the design and how Batman stores like his victims in like the back,
Yeah.
like how that opens up. That's just so fucking cool. And another honorable mention would have to be, Michael Keaton Batmobile.
Yeah.
That one too, because that's also very sleek, which inspired the Batman animated series Batmobile. So the three that I mentioned, I love the Ben Affleck Batmobile because I love the gray, I love the sleekness, of course, and
Dude, it's a real car.
yeah, it's a real car.
They made that.
Well, I mean, all the Batmobiles were real cars.
To one extent or another, but, like,
Most of them are literally real cars.
yes, but, like,
That's
that thing isn't a car. Like, the other ones are usually, it's a body kit on top of an actual car.
yep.
Or, like, the Tumbler is a fucking tank.
Yes.
Like, literally, it
Yes.
just is a tank.
Yes.
Versus that one, they made it, like,
Yes.
from scratch. It
Yes.
doesn't function, it's not a literal Batmobile.
But
like,
it does. It's a
functional-
car.
It's a functional stunt car
Yeah.
that's made from scratch and, like, welded together. It's
Yes.
so sick.
It's badass.
I want it.
Me too. I love that. I love the size. It's just very like it prowls through the city. Then we have Batman Animated Series, which is just it's just sleek. It's long and it just works for the narrow streets of Gotham
It
in
feels
that
like
type
he
of universe.
fills the alleyway.
Yes.
Is what I always got that. But when he, like,
Yes.
pulls into an alleyway between buildings, just whole thing's blocked off now.
He is the monster that you don't want to see in the alleyway. He is the creature that inhabits the streets. And then we have Batman White Knight. It's just I love the gray. The gray Batmobile is honestly my favorite. I actually like gray Batmobiles more than black.
Yes.
I feel like it's just better. It's just nicer to me. Also, it's for some reason I really like the long, sleek Batmobiles. This one's nice because it has that like it's a body and then it has like these arms that protrude out.
Yeah.
And it's just like that. Also, just looks like a car. I like it when they look like cars.
Yes.
Surprisingly enough, I didn't add the Dark Knight Batmobile, but like that just didn't feel like a Batmobile to me. That
just a
felt
tank.
like a tank. Which also
It worked.
another honorable mention would be Dark Knight Returns Batmobile, because like I love that.
True.
That is one of my favorite Batmobiles or Batman vehicles.
Yeah.
but for the sake of really Batmobile and like
Yeah.
it would have that can't really fit in.
What, you mean you can't squeeze that thing down a small alleyway?
No. That
I don't think you're trying hard enough.
okay. Okay, Spencer, what have you been?
You just gotta use a bit of lube on the sides.
I feel like it would crunch into the brick wall.
It would break the buildings entirely.
Yes.
It would just bring those.
That'd be
buildings
sick
down.
to draw. Anyway.
So I read Hedra.
Oh shit!
Now I have your attention.
Yeah,
Which was published in 2020 by Jesse Lonergan. At least that's when it was actually published by
officially
Image.
published.
Yes. It's very weird.
It is.
I like it.
Yeah.
So this is one of those kind of like concept things. It's like a concept album from a band. It's like, I can't really rate this. You're either into it or you're not.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked it. So it's really interesting formatting, obviously. In the beginning, it was a little difficult to get my brain in the right space. Like, you can't just pick it up and read it. You have to, like, give yourself a minute because it's a very strange format to adapt to. But I really enjoyed that. The fact that it was completely dialogue-free was very nice. It made my brain kind of chill the hell out because what I end up doing...
enjoy the art.
When I read so many comic books, I end up skipping over a lot of the artwork unintentionally because I'm trying to read the dialogue.
Me too.
Which I've tried a lot more lately to slow down and not do that because I end up missing like really amazing art just because I want to get the story elements in. And the fact that it had no dialogue really helped with that. I think the thing I like the most, the best use of the panels was when they're like swinging swords and spears, how it like integrates the panels into the arc. And it just, I don't know how to describe that, but that was really cool.
Yes.
The space travel part was a little bit more confusing for my brain to
Me
follow.
too.
But it was really cool. And it was nice. It was a nice read. I took my time, and it took like 30 minutes, which for something of that size usually doesn't take that long at all. But because it was such a strange read, and I wanted to just kind of drink it in and enjoy it, I just kind of just sat there and took my entire lunch break to read it. And it was quaint in the best way. It was very nice. It's a nice story with lots of themes and intrigue and implications, and also just nice to read. Heckin' cool.
Heckin' cool, dude.
Heckin' cool.
I'm glad you enjoyed that because I like this artist.
Yes. So you know who else is heckin' cool?
Who?
Our patrons.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're
those
heckin'
little
cool.
cucks.
Yeah, they are pretty heckin' cool. We have our heckin' cool people, Business Casual, Wesley Eaton, and Jeff Lawrence. You guys are cool. Bunch of simpy simps.
Thanks for being little sippy simps. We really appreciate the validation.
Yeah, well, we might have to use all of their money to, like, get a private investigator to find Jacob.
Yeah,
so thank you guys for funding our Find a Friend fund. Also, some pretty heckin' cool people over at Jetpack Comics and Games in Rochester, New Hampshire. They are our partners.
Our little partner people.
Yeah, they're pretty cool folkarinos. Go give them your money. Tell them that we sent you. Every time.
And tell them that...
What?
Yep.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. That didn't make sense, but alright. Yeah. They're over in downtown Rochester, New Hampshire. They got all them comic books, if you're kind of into that sort of thing.
I don't know if you are. I mean, they also have, like, Pokemon cards, too, which is pretty sick. You can't find, like, at any other fucking Walmart.
Yes. Because some random internet person decided to start making Pokemon card scalping a thing again. That was right when I wanted to get back into doing Pokemon, too.
Fucking me, too.
I was like, I should get back into Pokemon. Like,
I'm gonna get back into getting cards, because just buying Pokemon cards is fine.
Fuck you. Some celebrity decided to do an unboxing video, and now everything costs $1 billion. Fuck you.
Who's that Pokemon?
It's Pikachu!
It's Clefairy!
Fuck!
They also have a bunch of D&D stuff. They also have lots of figurines and statues. They got them collected edition graphic novels if you're a sophisticated person like not me. They got some video games in the back too. They got a new pinball machine, which I have yet to use.
Really?
Yeah, it's a Batman pinball machine. They traded out the Walking Dead one.
I thought it was always a Batman one back there.
Nope.
Strange.
Yeah, it's right next to a stand-up of Gal Gadot. So that's pretty cool.
Hot.
Get some pictures, put it up on your social media.
Of course.
Yeah, you know, the way it is.
Yeah.
Also pick up some little snacky snacks right next to the manga section. They got a little bit of that.
We got a little bit of snacks. You know, you got a little bit of your Red Bull. You got a little bit of your little anime food. You know, you can also buy a little bowl with chopsticks if you know how to use that.
Yeah, they probably still have some fidget spinners left over too from a few years ago.
They have some Beyblades I want to buy.
Nice.
Like I can't remember if I still have Beyblades, but like I definitely kept a couple from when I was a kid, and like those new ones look actually pretty good.
Nice.
I think they're newer ones too.
Beyblades are cool.
Yes.
Let her rip.
Beyblade, let it rip.
I'm gonna kill you. So feel free to follow us on social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or send us an email at dimecomicbros@gmail.com. Check out our website, which will shortly be getting an upgrade. I am actually working on that, even though it's already on the business cards. We don't actually own that domain yet. I'm working on that. I'm kind of busy. Go follow us on Go give us money on Patreon.
Go.
Patreon.com/dimecomicbros. Feed the Find a Friend Fund. I can say that without stuttering. Holy hell.
Feed the Find a Friend Fund.
What you said.
Yeah.
And then next week we will be discussing 300 Rise of an Empire, which is the 2014 sequel to the 2016 movie we discussed last week. More abs.
Sex scene.
Probably.
Angry sex scene.
Probably. Thanks for listening, weirdos. We'll be back. Maybe we'll find Jacob.
Maybe not.
Maybe we won't. Who knows?
I call this comics.
Okay.
This is my coming out video.
Oh boy. I'm gonna bitch slap you.
Fucking bitch slap my ball sack.
You already
Cock.
did that. Jeez.
No, I'm not the one that slammed my nutsack on a fucking wooden chair.
No, you just ripped it open on a fence, you idiot.
I ripped it open on a swing chain. Thank you very much.
Oh, I would have sworn you said it was a fence.
No.
Okay.
Say my name, you know who I am, too hot.
Colin!
What?
I'm trying to fucking speak.
Me too.
I'm not done speaking.
Oh, shit.
Jeez.
Fuck. I've learned to deal with this because I've shit my pants so many times. I've shit my pants more than the average adult. Eat.
Thank you, Father.
Eat, my son. Be nice to me. I'm sensitive.
I'm sensitive all